Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're reviewing the MAC Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation. It takes me ages to say these, in the first try I have to think about it very hard. This foundation retails for £26. It is quite a big compacted powder. It is more the middle to high end makeup. And it's the first powder foundation I have ever tried. And to be honest, I didn't know exactly what I expected from this. It has a little mirror in there. The packaging feels really nice. It feels kind of well protected, which I like. I have NW15, which is not the lightest shade actually. I did go in and make sure it was the correct shade. If I'm spending 26 quid, I want to know. So it's not the lightest shade. They have NW13, NW10, NC10. There might be another undertone as well that has a 10. There's a few shades that are lighter. They have the different undertones as well, which I quite like. This isn't a super warm undertone, and I'm going to insert some swatches down below of this foundation in comparison to some of the other foundations in my collection. I think I've got another MAC foundation which we can swatch next to it. This is the MAC Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation in NW15. This is the MAC Studio Sculpt Liquid Foundation in NC15. This is the CYO Long Lasting Life Proof Foundation in 101. And this is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation in Soft Ivory. So I'm going to kind of go through now the claims of the product. So this is supposed to be a one-step powder foundation that gives a flawless all matte finish with medium to full coverage. It's long wearing, though it says 8 hours, which to me isn't actually that long wearing. You have to think about your day. You get ready, say at 8 o'clock in the morning to be at work for 9. It might wear till the end of your shift. That's not exactly that long wearing. To me, 12 hours plus, you can count a foundation as long wearing. It's supposed to be non-drying, reduces appearance of pores, controls oil and shine for all skin types, especially oily skin. Normally matte foundations are for the oilier skin types, non-streaky, non-cakey, non-settling, photo-friendly. Which I kind of like. No one wants a flashbacky makeup. So during my application process, I just use the brush to apply it because I don't think a sponge is going to work as well with this, so I use the brush to apply this. You don't have to kind of buy their MAC brush. You can use any kind of buffing brush that you have. Don't be tempted into just buying the brush because it says to use that brush with it. So £26, it's got to be pretty good, and it's the first the foundation I've tried, so we're going to get into it and see exactly what I think of the coverage, the finish, all of that. So if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel before you leave. And if you press that notification bell, you'll be notified every time I upload. So I've never actually tested a powder foundation before on my channel as a foundation. I have used this before as a powder just to kind of test the shade because I needed to test the shade. Now this is in a shade that I think is going to match because I have tested it with foundation on, that's my only concern. But I think today we're only going to go in with a brush, and because this is the brush that I have clean, it's the Revolution Pro Foundation Drop Brush. My other brushes were dirty from a look that I did fairly recently on Instagram. If you want to go check it out, I always link my Instagram and Snapchat at the start of the video and at the end of the video so you guys can have a look. But it was covered in blue eyeshadow, so I couldn't use my foundation brush, so it's this one only today. We're not going to use a sponge because I don't feel like a powder foundation is going to really go on well with a sponge, and having a wet sponge dabbing into your powder, it doesn't sound good to me, you know. So we're just going to go in with the brush. So I'm just kind of coating the brush like this. The bristles look quite covered, and we're just going to blend. I've never really tried a powder foundation before, so I wasn't 100% what the coverage was going to be. I expect it to be a completely matte finish. I don't know, I'm getting some nice medium coverage actually. You can still see a lot of things coming through, but it looks quite natural actually, really natural and really pretty. I'm having to dig into this powder quite regularly, but I think I've dipped 2 or 3 times to get half of my face covered. And it's just this buffing, blending with your liquid foundations. I did not think at all about concealer. So I think what I will do is I will pop my concealer on for this eye now. Just using my Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer in Extra Fair. I mean, I am going to have to conceal the other eye, but just using my LA Girl sponge. It is dry, but you can use this sponge dry. And it's a good kind of thing to see how liquids go on top of this foundation. It doesn't look too bad, actually. I am going to have to like set it on top, of course, but I don't see like too much of a problem. I mean, this concealer, you will see, it does oxidize, so I have to have the light shade, and even then it's probably not exactly light enough. But it is my absolute favourite concealer. So I'm just going to set the concealer with the powder foundation. Now, I have quite dry skin, and I can see like a little dry patch that I have like coming up. I am quite liking how this looks. It looks really natural, and actually in the summer this will be a great go-to for oil control in my head. In my head, powder foundations are going to be better for that, and it's something that you'll be able to kind of take with you and top up. Like liquid foundations, you might be putting it like on top of powder or something like that. It doesn't look so hot. So to me, a powder foundation is definitely something you could bring and like top up with. Also, you could definitely use this like as a setting powder, just to add coverage, and then bring it like for topping up. So I am going to pick up some more powder and see if we can get a little bit more coverage here. It does build, actually. Like I am picking up a bit more, and I'm just getting a little bit more coverage. I definitely think it looks a bit more like makeup when you build it. Like it does look, I've got like quite high medium coverage with that. I'm very happy with that. I have like a really nasty dry patch here that actually I see a lot more because I think it's a powder foundation. Like it just doesn't look very good here. Like you can see all my like dryness. It doesn't look so hot there. I mean, I wear glasses there all the time, so it's always like a little bit like different under there. I mean, I'm not wearing glasses today. I try not to when I'm doing the foundation review, but it just doesn't look quite as good to me, you know. I'm quite happy with the finish, apart from like my dry patches. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the rest of my makeup on, which I will be filming because it's date night tonight, and I want to show you guys like the kind of look I do for date night, and then we'll be right back to see how it looks and what I think of it. So I finished putting my makeup on, and actually it looks really, really pretty. My only bother is this dry patch here. Like my dry patch has been covered by other products and stuff here. My dry patch here isn't super noticeable, but this dry patch here is really bad. So I would say if you guys have like drier skin, exfoliate real well before you put this foundation on. But otherwise I think it looks super natural. Like the colour match is perfect for me. It's like the perfect shade. I am absolutely loving it so far, apart from my little dry patch here. So I would definitely recommend it so far. We'll see how it goes. I do my wear test check-ins at about 4 hours and about 8 to 10 hours depending on the day, how the foundation's wearing, a few different factors like that. So stay tuned for those check-ins. All the products that I used on the rest of my face will be linked down below. I tried some new lashes today, and honest to God, getting them on was a challenge and a half. This one is too long. This one needs like trimming here. Like it is a mess and a half, but otherwise I had a right lot of fun creating this look. Once the video is up for this look, which will probably be next week, I'll link it down below as well. So I've had this foundation on for about 4 hours now. I've gotten nice and up close so you guys can kind of see what's going on. I've still got this little dry patch here, but I feel like it looks a bit better than when we started. Like I had a little dry patch going on here and I can't see that anymore. I don't see my dry patch here so much, but then I have products on top. I wouldn't say it's transfer proof at all. Like if I put my fingers on, like I get powder back. So it's not completely transfer proof, but I feel like it is a little bit better than my liquid foundations for that. And I also have to say that you can then top up actually, so where you normally would have your hand, which would be here or something like that, you can just kind of go over it again, which I think is the nice bit of powder foundation. I don't really wear powder foundation, so it's quite a new thing for me. I can just take my brush like and top up like anywhere I feel the need to, which is nice. Not that you should have to, but I think it looks really nice still, like really natural. It's a real good shade match for me, which is fantastic because I could not tell you that I've ever had a foundation be like this good of a shade match. It looks really good. It's not settled too much into my like forehead wrinkles, which is what a lot of the liquid foundations do. I think if you're oily, it's not fair for me to say that this would work on you. Like you could be like a slick by the end, who knows. I think for you dry skinned guys and gals, you need to exfoliate really well before wearing this because otherwise it does highlight all of your dryness, but I don't feel like it makes it any worse throughout the day. So I think unless you just suck in any moisture at all, then I think it should work really well for you. It has a really nice matte finish as well. Like, I've quite like a matte finish at the moment. It's really soft. I either like super dewy or super matte. Like, the in-between doesn't always work for me. It does look lovely, and I would still recommend it at this point, but we'll see how we're like sitting at the 10-hour point. Hi guys, so I've had this foundation on for about 10 hours now. It's like 10 p.m, something like that, between 9 and 10 hours anyway. The foundation looks pretty good, I would say. I would say it looks like I'm a little bit on the oily side, because it's like, I feel like it's melted into my skin more as the day has gone on. It's definitely not transfer proof. It's come off here and here, so it's gone a little bit weird on my nose and chin. Like, I find that happens with like nearly every foundation anyway. But otherwise I do think it looks good. I don't feel like this looks like much different, my little dry patch here. I still feel like it's like emphasised. I don't feel like it's kind of flattened down or anything like that, or really looks any different. I would still recommend this foundation. Like, I think it's lovely. I think it's done a fantastic job coverage wise. Like, I really like it, which I didn't anticipate actually, to be honest. Like, I didn't think powder foundations would be for me, but this is really pretty, and it's lasted longer than it said it would, like, generally speaking. I'm getting a little bit of settling here, like you can see, but otherwise it has lasted very well, and I keep like looking at it because it does look really nice, really natural. It actually goes light enough, and that's one of the things to consider. Like, there's two lighter shades, and you guys know that it's so hard for me to find a foundation that actually matches or is light enough. So MAC have done really well with that. So this is definitely something I recommend. Even though it's 26 quid, I will definitely be wearing this again. Maybe try it out again in the summer just to kind of see how it lasts. But otherwise, like, my makeup's held really well. So if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel before you leave. And if you press that notification bell, you'll be notified every time I upload. And feel free to leave a comment down below if there's any other foundations you want me to try or anything like that.